Blessings, 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 everyone. We back once again. Talk these NBA playoffs, man. You know, last time we was here, series was 2-2. Boston and Milwaukee. Lakers already had got swept. So now, I don't even really want to talk about the rest of the series, really, to be honest. You know, Boston got our hopes up. We thought that they was gonna get back. I said the series was 2-2. It couldn't have been if they went down 3-0. What I'm talking about. Boston got our hopes up. I take all that 2-2 stuff back. I was too focused on saying the Lakers got swept and pressing the sweep button. I admit it. I want to make sure I said the Lakers got swept and I pressed the sweep button. Anyway, we thought we were going to get 2 sweeps is what I should have said. We thought we were going to get 2 sweeps. Boston got our hopes up, fought all the way back, forced the game 7 in historic, in a classic fashion with a Derrick White game winner. And they just dropped the ball, man. It's like, you got our hopes up for nothing. And our Derrick White game winner going to be forgotten in time because y'all didn't win. Y'all didn't complete the mission. So it was cool that he did it. You know, it was live, you know, in the moment. Everybody loved it. But since y'all lost the series, it don't really matter. I mean, it was a cool moment, but at the end of the day, y'all still lost the series. Y'all still at home. So shout out Derrick White, man. They made your stuff not matter, man. I don't know what else to tell you, man. But just a little outlook on this for the Celtics now that their season is over. They already came out and said Joe Mazzulla's job is safe and all that. I don't know. Joe is not a good coach to me. I think he's in over his head. But given the situation, I guess it does make sense that you give him another chance. They did make the Eastern Conference Finals, and with the Ime stuff that went on at the beginning of the year, him not keeping his hands to himself and offer the VPs sweet things. I guess you do kind of give him the benefit of the doubt, give him another chance, give him a whole training camp or whatever. Whatever he didn't have, I guess you feel like you give him another chance just to see what he could do. If he can become a better X's and O's coach, make better adjustments from game to game and in game, because to me, he didn't make good adjustments at all. The one thing that started helping them more was Robert Williams getting more play time, but really because Malcolm Brogdon couldn't play. Because you saw as soon as Game 7 came and Malcolm was good to go, Malcolm Brogdon was getting all the minutes, and all of them was terrible. He was not even looking aggressive on offense, so it was easy to guard whenever he had the ball. And then defensively, he was getting cooked every play. So it was, I don't know, it was rough, man. It was rough. They built us up to this Game 7, man, and then them boys, I know Jason Tatum got hurt and all that, but it would have been so much lava, even if they lost, if it was a good game. But basically, the Heat controlled the game from beginning to end. I think once the Heat got up, I think Boston cut it to 7 at one point because Derrick White did not want to let them boys waste his game winner. Derrick White was out there hooping like, man, my game winner is not going to be wasted. But in the end, it was, you know, the game was so out of reach that the starters didn't even finish the game. They cleared the benches. Like, man, what could have been, right? But it is what it is, man. We move on to the final series, man. Make sure y'all like, comment, share, and subscribe, man. Make sure you like, comment, share, and subscribe. If it's your first time here, man, we're going to always talk about some things that's interesting, man. Mostly sports. But I want to leave the door open. We might talk about some other things, just like the Bump Your Guns podcast. You know, we talk about more than just sports on the Bump Your Guns podcast. So probably see some of that on this channel too. So make sure that you like, helps the channel. You comment, also helps the channel. You share, which of course helps the channel because more people see it. And you subscribe so we get them numbers up, baby. I think we was at 44 at the time of this recording. So let's keep on pushing, baby. Keep on pushing. So with that being said, the stage is set. The Nuggets coming out the Western Conference Finals. You know, Jokic won the Western Conference Finals MVP. And then the Heat coming out the Eastern Conference Finals with Jimmy Butler winning the Eastern Conference Finals MVP. Now, what's interesting about this to me is, if I had a vote, I would have voted for Jamal Murray in the West, and I would have voted for Caleb Martin in the East. Now Caleb Martin was balling, you know, and there is and with me saying that, I don't think that they got robbed in a sense. I just know that I would have voted different. I still think Jokic and Butler, of course, were very deserving MVPs, and with the narratives on that side, of course they was going to win it. But I think Jamal Murray balled out every game, the full quarter scoring, all of the clutchness. He was deserving of it as well. So if he had won it, I would not have been surprised. And Caleb Martin turned into Kobe at some point, and he just started hooping out of his mind this whole series. Every game he had a good game, and it was impactful to the series in a way that, to me, he deserved to win MVP. But like I said, Jimmy and Jokic both too deserved it. So it is what it is, man. So now the stage is set. Finals, the finals that nobody wanted. I don't care what nobody says. I think I saw one expert pick this series at the beginning of the year, and I guarantee that he would not have picked this series when the playoffs started. He picked this series because how the Heat was last year, but the Heat had been trash all year. They lost the play-in game to then get in to win the second one to then get in as an A seed. There's no way that dude would have picked this this matchup starting the playoffs. Now I get it at the beginning of the year starting it because of how they played last year, and of course the Nuggets getting their second and third best player. Yeah, it makes more sense then. It would have been more impressive to me if they said he picked it starting the playoffs. Then I'd have been like, oh yeah, that boy was on it. But basing it on last year, then yeah, it makes a lot of sense. But anybody else out there saying this was your finals pick?
Stop the cap. Stop the cap right now. Stop the cap.
Please stop the cap, because this is not the final series that anybody wanted. Now, I will admit that most people, I don't think people wanted Lakers versus Celtics as much as people was trying to say that that's what everybody wanted to see. I don't think that's the case, but you can't convince me that nobody wanted to see this, man. And I think the ratings will reflect it, but time will tell, man. Time will tell. I think it's gonna be some good basketball. Now, I just don't think it's gonna be. I don't think a lot of people are gonna watch it because of the teams involved. They're not marquee name teams, you know. So we'll see. I think the basketball enthusiasts, people who just like watching basketball, fans of the sport, will watch it, but you got two teams. Neither has an All-NBA first team player on it. Two smaller market teams. I just don't see. I don't see where the viewership is going to come from. But nevertheless, I think we will get some good basketball out of it. How much of it, we're going to find out. So right now we see the head-to-head record. The Nuggets was 2-0. Now, one of the games was in December. I think the other game was in February. But they were closer games. I think Jamal Murray hit a game winner in one, or it was like a clutch three. But I think both of the games was like 7-point wins or something like that for the Nuggets. So it wasn't no blowouts, but the Nuggets did win 2-0. You got the leading scorer on the Nuggets is, of course, Jokic. And then the leading scorer on the Lakers. I mean, I said on the Lakers. On the Heat is, of course, Jimmy Butler. So with that being said, we get into this matchup. Who really has the advantage? Now we know, of course, as we said, the Heat are 8 seed who lost the play-in game. They had to win the second one to even get in. They beat the 1 seed, then they beat the 4 seed. I think the Knicks was the 4 seed because they was the 4-5 matchup. No, they was the 5 seed because the Cavs was the 4 seed. They beat the 5 seed, and then they beat the 2 seed Boston Celtics. The Heat had faced a lot of adversity getting here. They lost Tyler Hero in the first round. All these undrafted players stepped up. They started making plays for him, playing big for him. Gabe Vincent, Max Strus, Duncan Robinson. You know, we talked about Caleb Martin already doing this thing. And then, of course, you had Jimmy and Bam really leading the charge on both sides of the floor. So then you look at Denver. Denver was the 1 seed in the West. So you could say the West was really more predictable, right? They beat the Timberwolves, who we all know is trash.
Trash!
Then they beat the 2-man Suns, who it really was just KD and Booker, and hopefully one more guy plays well with us that night. So they got past the Suns, who it took KD and Booker to score 80 points for them to get them 2 wins. And then they swept the Lakers, who, while I won't say they was overrated, it's not a shock that they beat the Lakers. It might be a little surprising that they swept them, given that it's LeBron James, but when you take it to account, it's not his first time, hey. So we see two teams took 2 different paths to get here, but now they meet. So, man, it's tough, man. It's tough because I think it's going to be an easy series for Denver. I think Miami has the Cinderella story going. They white hot, but I think this is going to be the series where them undrafted players start looking real undrafted. I think Denver has a major talent advantage when you go from Jokic to Murray to Michael Porter Jr. Then you still talk about guys like Brown. You still got Aaron Gordon. It's like the team is deep. They are the most complete team roster construction wise, right? But then even when you start seeing what they're out there actually doing on the court, even guys like Christian Braun, who is a rookie, he's even contributing. So I just think Miami just gonna hit the end of their road, man. I think Jimmy has willed them to this point, but I think now it's gonna be that point where they're gonna see, not to say a real team, because I think Boston was a good roster team, right? But they was horribly coached. Just being honest, they were badly coached. Let's not say horrible, but they were not a good coach team. And Mike Malone is a way better coach than Joe Mazzulla. And I think even when the Heat go to like their switch ups with Eric Spoelstra tell them start running zone and stuff like that, I think this is not going to phase Denver as much as it phased any team. And I think with Denver knowing already that that's something they like to do, they're going to already have a plan of attack for it. We saw in the Boston series when they went to it in game 2, Boston didn't know what to do. And it's not like the Heat waited until this series to start running zone. They run it. That's one of the things that they do. And they just did not have an answer for it at all. And I just don't see Mike Malone being that ill-prepared. I don't see the Nuggets being that ill-prepared. And I think Jokic, having won 2 MVPs already, I think now his eyes are really on that prize where he's very focused now on just getting his ring. I think it's similar to Giannis a couple of years ago, right? Giannis had won his 2 regular season MVPs, and the only thing he didn't have really was a ring. And we saw when he got there, he seized that opportunity. Even in the closeout game, hitting all those free throws when we know Giannis is not a good free throw shooter. I think we're going to see Jokic probably average a 30-point triple-double on Bam. Like, Bam is good, Bam is active, but Bam is going to have to play at a level that I don't think he can play defensively. He's still undersized at the end of the day. He's a very switchable defender. He's versatile and all that, but I think Jokic is going to give that boy some crazy work. I think Jokic is about to kill this man because he was giving AD crazy work, and AD is more equipped to me to guard Jokic than Bam does. Now I will say on the other side of the floor, Bam does a little bit more than AD does as far as the dribble handoffs. He's a more willing shooter. Like AD will shoot, but AD really trying to get you in that paint and score. He will shoot a mid-range every now and then, shoot a 3, but for the most part, AD trying to kill you at that rim. So Bam is a little more versatile in the way he looks to attack, but he has not been efficient this far. So Bam is going to really have to step up. Them undrafted guys are going to have to they have to do something, because I really think this is the series where we're going to start saying, yeah, but them guys undrafted, what can you expect from them? That's when they start seeing it. That's when you're going to start hearing the narrative kind of shift now when they play a team of this caliber. I do think the Nuggets is the best team that the Heat face, but I can't say, well, I guess you can say that. Is that Lakers team better than this Heat team? Is it? I don't know. it's debatable whether this Heat team is the best team the Nuggets face so far. Although they did sweep the Lakers, but I'm keeping it above, man. I got Nuggets at 5. I think it's gonna be a short series. I think Jimmy gonna get in one because playoff Jimmy is a real thing, man. I think Jimmy gonna at least get one win. He's not gonna allow himself to be swept. But I just don't see a win for Miami in this series. I think Jokic is determined. I think Jokic is been dominant in a way that is kind of similar to the Dirk run when they won theirs. It just seemed like Jokic just wants it. It just seemed like he's just determined to get it and get it out the way. You know, like he just, let me go ahead and get my ring, get up out of here. And to be honest, this is a good year for them. It was a down year in the West. And then you get a favorable matchup really in the East for them as opposed to what it could have been, you know. Even though the East was better in the regular season than they've been in a long time, in the Eastern Finals, there was a lot of upsets, right? Because the 8th seed ended up making it to the East, to the finals. So we'll see, man. We'll see how this series gonna go, man. I got Nuggets at 5. I think the Nuggets is gonna be too much for the Heat on both sides of the ball. Really, I think Jimmy is gonna have him a good game that propels them to a win, probably in Miami. But the series starts tonight, man. We're going to see, am I on point with this one? You know, some of them I've been off. Of course, I was off because I wanted my Warriors to be here to win back-to-back, but it was not the case. Now we get Denver and Miami, the finals that nobody wanted. Adam Silver probably is crying himself to sleep, thinking about all the money that he missed out on in the other potential matchups. But that's how I got it, man. I got Nuggets at 5, man. I think matchup wise, the Nuggets pretty much win all the matchups that matter. I think point guard wise, I think the only advantage the Heat have is shooting guard because Jimmy Butler, and that's Jimmy Butler versus who? Like whoever is the 2 guard, like because Jamal Murray is more the point guard to me, so I don't know, man. We're going to see how this series plays out. I'll be watching the games. Hopefully you'll be watching the games so we can help them boys get some kind of ratings. But with that being said, man, shalom, I'm out.